lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bone.
Hello? Hello?
Let me out!
Let me out! Let me out!
Let me out!
This is not a dance! I'm begging for help! I'm screaming for help! Please come let me out!
Let me out! Let me
Let me
out!
out! Let me out! This is not a dance! I'm begging for help! I'm screaming for help! Please come let me out!
Let me out! Let me out! I'm doing it right.
Let me out! Let me out!
Please! Let me out!
Yeah. Hey guys. Hope you guys are enjoying our really great, really just great singing rendition.
I don't think anyone enjoyed that, but
yeah, that's okay.
I had to suffer for it regardless.
Yeah. One Saitama Inu for anyone that recognizes and knows what that song is from or where it's from. If you do, you're cool. We can be best friends. If not, then no Saitama Inu for you.
Are we live? Are people seeing us?
Oh, we're live. We're live.
Are we live on the YouTube?
It's on YouTube's.
The YouTube.
It's on the YouTube's. Oh, also we gotta hop into Discord. Discord stages, by the way. We might have to hop onto Zoom because the Discord thing. Yeah, let me actually send you a quick Zoom invite.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. You're gonna have to bear with us. 1 HP medic is the password, okay?
Sure.
Copy invitation. Here you go. Yeah, it's because we have to use the same like channel. So for everyone that's watching, we're also going to be hosting a Discord stage in the Voltaic server. So yeah, feel free to check us out there. And make sure you mute me. So let's end this call and actually join this call first. Join Zoom first. Well,
then it's gonna destroy my
No, I have the positioning all
overlay.
set. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, go share your screen, or turn on your camera.
There I am.
There you are.
It's a me.
It's a me. Move toward the center a little bit. Hey guys, so how's everyone doing? How's everybody doing today? Let's now head into the Discord stages. You can still hear me, right? And then you're gonna mute me on Zoom thereafter. Let me share that same screen with you so you see what I see. So you can see my projector preview. Oh, and then I have to do participants. I have to still. Let me out.
Let me out.
Let me out. Oh, guys. Oh, guys. Me and Elliot are kind of weird, but, you know, hope you guys enjoy us. Hope you enjoy our very wondrous personalities. Okay, we're hopping into 1 HP MA. Become a speaker in there. And then let's mute each other on this. You got it? Boom! Hello. Hello. I hear you. Do you hear me?
Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. We're all ready. Hey guys on YouTube, if you guys want to be present in the stage and want to be able to raise your hand and actually talk to us directly, head over to the Voltaic Discord. We're going to send a invite link for anyone watching on our stream, discord.gg/Voltaic, and we're in the 1 HP AMA section in the very bottom. And then what we're going to be doing right now is just waiting for everyone to trickle on in here.
That's trickle with an SH.
Yes, trickle.
Trickle.
Yeah, we're gonna trickle in here, and then in the meantime, we're just gonna hang out. Tell us about your guys' holidays. Tell us anything that happened to you guys, and we'll share what happened to our holiday, or in our holidays. What happened with you and Christmas?
And Christmas?
Yeah, how was your Christmas?
I went to the gym.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a tac shotgun from Elliot.
Yeah.
He bought me a tac shotgun, guys.
It's not the only present you're getting either. There's a t-shirt coming too.
He got a tac shotgun for me.
Arguably better.
I'm gonna just do this. This is called professional hair.
Oh yeah?
Okay, no, maybe not.
You gotta flex the shotgun. Gotta hold it the whole time.
It's not open yet. I'll use this one.
It's a very different gun.
Yeah, so for everyone listening right now on the stages, hello, first off. Hi. And go ahead and join our YouTube. So I'm not sure Sini has posted it yet. He probably has. Yes, he did. So go to the announcements, click the link, and you guys will see us on YouTube. We're presenting live as well. And then we're hosting the Discord stages to give you guys an opportunity to interact with us. We're going to have opportunity and room within the presentation to have you guys talk to us, to ask questions, to share your thoughts about certain things. So please hop into our stream, and we're going to wait roughly 5 to 10 minutes about everything. Or 5 to 10 minutes for everyone to, hop into the stages, join our stream, us broadcasting it everywhere, and then we'll get started. But in the meantime, if you guys have some, temporary questions or thoughts, throw it in the YouTube chat, and we'll answer them. We'll talk about them right now, up until we get started. And so today we are going to be talking about wrist and hand health for gamers. Last month we talked about, I think it was nutrition. Previously, before that, it was mental performance, and we actually have a mental performance seminar next week with Ryan Terao, our esports psychologist, so doctor or psych sensei. So look out for that. We have one of these every single month, and yeah, we just appreciate you guys being here. We really appreciate you guys as a community, because you guys are by far the most intentional about practice, about improving yourselves. So, with that in mind, right, do you guys have questions about anything relating to your physical health, relating to anything, really? We are happy to discuss as we get into this presentation. And as we wait for all the audience members to go to the announcements channel, click on the YouTube link, because we're streaming live right now, so you guys can see what we're presenting. We
got 23 people in the chat.
Yeah, we have a presentation that's in front of us, or we're streaming, so you guys can follow along as we're describing, and you guys won't be lost as we're looking to describe some things. We have a visual aid. So Rectangle asks, is this only going to be cover wrist, hand pain, and injuries? We can talk about shoulder pain afterwards. So, happy to talk about that, Rectangle. If you want, you can leave some information for us where you're feeling it exactly. We'll pull up a little human for you to tell us exactly where, what you're feeling, how long, what are the things that make it worse, and then we can provide you with some rough guidelines on what you can do to help with your shoulder issues. Sometimes it's a lot of the things that we're covering in this presentation actually help overall with how you approach injuries in the first place. So we can do this. Hello, Michael Glassner.
Wow, they just hitting us with all the questions right now.
Big fan of yours. Pain in my whole body, not for wrist. I tried strengthening dumbbells. Okay, that's a good question. We're gonna talk about load management in the presentation. Yeah, it depends on what you're feeling, right? Is it soreness? Is it sharp? Is it aching? Is it burning? Clarifying some of the actual type of pain and what you're feeling can guide, either us or whatever healthcare provider you're working with better understand, what you're dealing with and how to better manage your condition. I would say while we are doctors of physical therapy, we always have to have this disclaimer. Any of this advice that we provide here is not replacement for in-person physical therapy treatment or just medical advice from your doctor. Please go seek a local physical therapist or reach out to us to set up a telehealth coaching or telemedicine appointment so that we can actually help you and support you and identify things specific to your setup, your lifestyle to get back to playing. Spud says, can I still play with pain in my back, upper left back, but with trying to have good posture?
Probably trying to fix that.
Yeah, it depends on what you're feeling. But he's trying to have good posture. So it depends on if it's like an actual sharpness, if it's actually aching. But a lot of the times when we look to improve our posture, we use certain muscles that we haven't used in a while. Or if we have stiffness, we're kind of moving into the end ranges of our mobility. And that's kind of putting some irritation or stress on those joints. And that's something you'll get used to as you exercise more, as you work on your mobility a little more, and as you maintain that position more. Is the monitor stand more important for someone who works and play for long times? Why don't you answer that?
Yeah. So the monitor stand is gonna be nice to have as an adjustable piece of equipment. But really, no matter how adjustable your monitor is, you really do need to be moving around pretty consistently. But the nice thing about having the monitor that is adjustable, you can definitely move it around as you move around, so it kind of sits in an optimal position for you at all times. So while not maybe the most important thing in the world, I think there's no replacement for standing up and stretching and getting up every hour. I think that a monitor mount can definitely be a helpful piece of ergonomic equipment for you to kind of accommodate your shifting and moving about on your desk.
We can do this. Ask, what office chair do you recommend to someone with a bad back? We just finished all the mainstay videos for the Gaming Ergonomics 101. So everything from your monitor to your chair to your desk to how close your monitor should be, the keyboard setup, your mouse grip, why vertical mice lead to different stresses of your wrist hand. Everything is there. It's all free. It's on our playlist. So you guys can check that out on YouTube. But let's get started, right? Like, we have a lot of really good questions, and we're going to answer a lot of the questions throughout this presentation. Like, does increasing and decreasing sensitivity help with wrist pain? That's a really good question. We're going to get to that. Likewise,
also a really good question here about numbness and tingling, which definitely address.
Okay, so shall we? I think we shall. Hello.
Let's get it going.
As you can see, these drawings are a representation of who we are. I'm the pale guy on the right side of the screen, and Elliot is the darker left side, the guy on the left side of the screen.
Darker.
Yeah, well, more different complexion. Yeah, and swirly. Anyways, and so we're here today to talk about wrist and hand health for gamers. Like we said, this is something we do one time a month to help the community learn a little more about what they can do to, address pain, be better versions of themselves. This week or a month is focused on health. So first off, I wanted to ask and sort of poll for you guys. You see all these pain regions here. Have you guys ever dealt with any of these? And if you have, throw in the chat like where. 1 through 10. I've dealt with 1 and 10. I've dealt with 3. I've dealt with 4. And then, as a follow-up, how do you guys keep your wrists and hands healthy? you know, as gamers and aimers, and not non-lamers and
Gamers and
non-flamers.
aimers, you heard the man.
Gamers and aimers and non-flamers for tamers. That doesn't make any sense, but it's okay. You know, let me know, guys, where you guys feel it, and we just want to see. We want to take a poll here, and then also let us know what you guys do to keep your wrists and hands healthy. And if you guys are in the Discord stages, raise your hand. You know, we want to invite you guys to speak to us and say, hey, I feel it here, and this is what I do.
Chat is lighting up like a Christmas tree right now. P2, P3, P9, P1, P2, P3, P9,
Ooh,
P10, P5.
that's a lot.
Holy.
That's a
Y'all
lot.
got a
Yeah.
lot of PPs.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, so if you guys are in the audience and you guys want to chat with us, you want to let us know what you guys do to keep your hands healthy, feel free to raise your hand. But let's review this, right? So we have a lot of P2. We have 1, 2 P2s, 3 P2s already. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 P1s. Okay, we have 4 P. Should I track this down? I think so. We go P1, 4 P1s, 3 P2s. What else do we have? We have P9, 2 P9s, 2 P9s. We have some P3s, P5, 6, 7,
3
8.
P3s, yeah. There's a lot.
Wow,
a lot
it's
going
a lot
on.
of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. And so, got it. Well, I mean, it does seem, though, P1 is pretty common, right? So that's good.
Extensor
That's good.
tendinopathy, yeah.
Yeah, right. So this region is definitely something that we see very commonly. And we actually have some stuff prepared later on in this presentation, so you guys can already get started with addressing this discomfort. What do you guys do right now to help with your wrist and hand discomfort? Or what are you guys doing to keep your wrists and hands healthy? Let us know in the chat. Or again, if you're in the stages with us, raise your hand and say, it's me. I want to do this. I do this.
Do that.
Wow. So some P9s too. So that's the owner
Yeah.
side of wrist pain. Got it. Yeah, that's really common. And surprisingly, some P10s. So finger-related pain for us is interesting because I think a lot of the times it is also associated with your mouse grip. And, you know, I have an angle prepared here for you guys. Look at this. It's kind of nice, right? I have this angle here for you to show you guys, right? Like how, if we set our hands up in different ways, how that might impact, you know, the mouse. So we will get to the question. So you guys warm up before every gaming session, play max of 4 hours a day, stretch after gaming sessions. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Wrist stretches. And then you're going to be going to physical therapy to learn how to strengthen it. Exactly. You know,
We have a winner!
We have a winner. We have a winner. LGN Drax, you know, a lot of the things that you're going to be learning here today hopefully will support that visit. So hoping we can help you with that. Yeah, P10 from fingertip grip. You're absolutely right. That can definitely be a thing. So yeah, let's get into it, right? So you guys can see here, there's 3 big things that we always focus on that can also be contributors to wrist pain, but also if you address them, they can help prevent all of these pain patterns, all of the P1 through P10. So number 1 is your posture and your ergonomics, right? And so when I say posture and ergonomics, that is your wrist position here,
How you're sitting.
Exactly, your keyboard position, your shoulder position, everything that I just discussed, you know, the monitor, your entire setup. How are you sitting in front of your PC? And because we're talking about the wrist and hand today, it is more specific to, you know, wrist and hand position. While as we get further away, things like desk setup, chair, shoulder, those can contribute to it as well. But I would say it's more important for us to focus on this first, right? We look at this first to identify if there's anything else. Then we look at the other contributing factors, which are, you know, shoulder, how you're set up in front of your desk, even the desk height can really lead to some issues occasionally. So number 2, it's me here in my old apartment 3 years ago, Koreatown, Los Angeles. I am doing exercises. And so number 2 is wrist conditioning. Okay. And when I say wrist conditioning, I just mean, do you have the capacity? Do you have the endurance or strength to support the stress that you apply on it on a regular basis? Right? And stress meaning, hey, I am clicking repeatedly in AimLab Kovacs. I'm clicking repeatedly in Fortnite or Valorant or whatever game that you guys are playing. And that's placing repeated stress on the muscles that you use, right? And so you need to develop the strength to support that. And number 3 is lifestyle, right? Me standing up here, but taking enough breaks, making sure that you're managing how much overall stress you're placing on those muscles and tendons. If you take a break occasionally, you stretch, it can help you eliminate or prevent sort of this cumulative buildup of stress on those tissues. That's why it's important for us to be mindful of how we structure our day, how we structure our gaming blocks, so that we can incorporate some of these positive habits that we're going to be discussing. So, good night. We can do this. Thanks for tuning in, albeit short, but thank you. And so, Elliot, why don't we start with number 1? Let's start by talking about posture and ergonomics and what they need to understand about wrist position.
So the big theme when you're talking about posture and ergonomics is just kind of the principle of neutral. Everything you want to be kind of in its most natural, neutral position. You don't want too much of an angle one way or the other. So you see how Matt put a line through this slide here, and it goes straight down that forearm and then kind of straight through that middle finger there, a little bit off center. But for the most part, it's in its most natural, neutral position. So he's not starting off with a mouse that's cocked too far this way or cocked too far that way. It's completely straight. And that's really important in all the planes that you're looking at. So having a little bit of self-analysis can be really important. Having someone take some pictures of you while you play can be a really great way to kind of see if anything feels like it's out of neutral. And then the same thing goes for the rest of the upper body. If you can see that second picture there, you can see his forearm from the side angle. It's nice and straight. The wrist isn't too extended backwards like this. His elbow is at a nice relaxed angle there. He's not leaning too far forward. He's very upright with his torso posture. All of these things are very helpful for maintaining a neutral amount of stress on the joints, or only using the joints when you need them to use, and when you need to use them to perform actions like flicking, tracking, or anything like that, and not having to even further go into these range of motions that can cause pain. So really taking the time to assess your ergonomics, making sure everything's in neutral. Here's some great examples of terrible ergonomics. You can see this guy is leaning all the way back. His arms are completely straight forward. His shoulders are flexed. His neck is craned forward like that. The second guy is not too bad, but still not great. His head is forward. His back is rounded. You can see that his mouse and keyboard are higher than his elbows, so he's extending his wrists. All of these things are things that we look at when we're trying to do initial assessments of how people are stressing their bodies. So the more of these pieces you can get to neutral, the less stress you're going to be putting on any of your structures, and the less work that they have to do when you're performing these actions per minute.
So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And if it doesn't, let's sort of demonstrate, right? Like, what does it mean to be neutral? And we'll start at the wrist and hand. So if I'm looking at the side view, like you said, right, we want to make sure that our wrist is not in too much extension going up like this, which is why sometimes people do find it helpful, and this is just a little cushion. They find it helpful to have a cushion here, right? Because then it puts us in relative, or it puts us in a position where we're not overly extended. And it depends on the size of your hand, the bulk of the muscles of the forearm here, and the height of the mouse. Those can all impact how much you're actually extending up. And so between 0 and around 15 degrees is actually okay, right? Like if I'm left-handed, between 0 and 15 degrees of extension, as you can see here. It's only slightly extended up. Even upwards of 30 is fine, as long as when it gets a lot further, like your 45 degrees and more, it just puts the muscles on the top side of our forearm over here into a shortened position. And there's a principle in biomechanics and physiology called the length-tension relationship. And it just states that at certain lengths, the muscles can't perform optimally, right? And oftentimes when it's shortened, it might fatigue a little more quickly. So that's why it's important for us to be cognizant of that, right? And so for the shoulder, what that means is if I'm trying to be in neutral, you see the picture on the right, he's rounded here. We're just trying to bring your shoulders back, and it's not retracting your shoulders all the way back and then bringing it down. You know, in fact, most of the time we see that the shoulders are already too low. So think about just bringing your chest up and then slightly bring your shoulders back like this. And that's your neutral position. And it's not easy to maintain this position because a lot of the times we get used to certain other postures, and while you might not have pain with those, it's always just a sort of a matter of risk. You know, if you sit in any posture for an extended period of time, you're going to develop some issues. You're going to develop some stiffness. But we want to put you in a more biomechanically optimal position because, one, it gives you more movement. 2, it allows those muscles to work in a better position. And 3, that can sometimes lead to a reduced risk of injury. So let's talk a little more about, you know, how your sitting posture can affect your wrist position and aim. So one thing that we have noticed recently, and also in a discussion with a pro player, was, you know, because his desk was too high, he got in, his elbows were really far apart. And if this is some of you guys, then, you know, you can listen in a little more intently, but they lean on their forearm, so a lot of the pressure is on the actual forearm, and that doesn't allow them to move their shoulder as much. So if you can imagine here, I can kind of demonstrate with this side desk here. They're kind of leaning like this, right? And this can offload a little bit of the back, but this puts a lot more pressure on the actual forearms here, and can sometimes cause you to overuse your wrist and hand, as well as overuse your elbow as they use their elbow to arm aim. It's always sort of a trade-off though. So I just wanted to share that with you guys to help you guys understand and realize that how you sit, how your desk is set up, can influence, you know, how you use some of the muscles of your body and wrist and hand, specifically the wrist and the hand. So I want to stop there and ask you guys, you know, do you guys have any questions about anything relating to posture and positioning? If you're in the Discord chat or stage, again, feel free to raise your hand so we can talk. You can say, hey, you know, I have a question about this. Okay, hello, Spellboy. Welcome.
Spellboy.
Spellboy, hello. I've invited you to speak, so come on in and let's talk.
Come on down. Ba-dum-ba-bum.
Come
The Price is
on
Right.
down.
The price is right and the wrist is tight. Let's go.
Exactly. Hey.
Hello? Oh, you
Hello,
guys can hear me
Snowboy.
now.
Welcome
I was
to the
supposed
show.
to accept something. My bad.
Yes,
all
you
good.
were.
All
But
good.
here you are. You're here now.
Yeah.
How's it going?
So I had a question real fast. I'm recently recovering from an RSI. I think I've talked about it in the health chat like once or twice.
Okay.
My shoulders always lean forward. I've been trying to keep it more up, but it feels more unnatural for me to keep it up than keep it down.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just asking about that.
Okay, and
You keep your shoulder up.
It's like it feels unnatural to keep my chest up and my shoulder, like, keep good posture, than to lean down into my desk. What you guys would call bad posture. That's what I was asking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do we help it not make it feel so unnatural.
Gotcha. Well, what does the setup look like with armrests and all that? Like,
I'm an arm aimer. My elbow's just like slightly off my desk, and
Okay.
I've got like longer arms, so all my shit's like forward.
Mm-hmm.
So
you
Gotcha.
rest your forearms on your table.
Yeah.
so you're scooted all the way in, like your belly's touching the table, and your arm is completely on the table except your elbow hovers, and therefore
Yes.
you keep your shoulder a little bit higher to accommodate that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You strictly need the elbow to hover?
No, but I thought it might be better, so.
Because when you're hovering your elbow like that, you're just hiking your shoulder up like this, and it's really causing a lot of the muscles that run up into your neck to be kind of overactive. Do you have pain in your neck, I guess is the real question.
Or where were you feeling your issue?
I think it's the bundle of nerves like right on like the middle of the 7 that's in your hand that locked up, and I had a lot of pain in my wrist for a while. So.
Oh, so
Okay.
it's wrist pain. Okay.
Gotcha. I would say that just elevating your chair a little bit and letting your elbow rest on the table will probably take some of the stress off of your neck. But if that's not where you're having pain, it's not necessarily a problem. It seems like if you're having pain in the wrist, probably more likely the cause is just under preparation of those muscles for what it is that you're doing. Especially if you're arm aiming, though, like it's a little less likely to develop pain in the wrist, but not impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, I would say, right, like if you're not dealing with any neck, shoulder, back issues, it's not immediately urgent to have to change it, right? And it's normal for it to feel unnatural because, hey, you've sat in that same position when you started gaming and probably didn't have to think about it. It can absolutely contribute to a little less stress on the forearm muscles, as we've just discussed, but it is something that you will, if you want to try to actually sit in an upright position, it's like dealing or changing with your sensitivity. It takes time. So it's just a motor coordination, and it's how we it's like motor memory, and it takes time for us to adapt to any new position. And we wouldn't ask you to change it from 0 as in the worst posture to 100%, which is completely upright. We want you to we would ask you to gradually change it from leaning forward to slightly more upright, to slightly more upright, to slightly more upright. But like Elliot said, again, if you're not dealing with any of that shoulder, neck, back issues, it's not going to be a priority. What we would want to look at is how you're actually holding your mouse. What you're actually doing regularly for conditioning to prepare those muscles that you're commonly using. If it's on the palm side, it's going to be the flexors. And we're going to talk about all these pain patterns and review some of these exercises in some of the following slides. So I think that will be it'll help you understand a little more. But if you feel like you still have some questions, ask us again at the very end of this if there's some things that you're missing in terms of understanding. But does it make sense as to why, hey, it might feel unnatural for you to sit upright?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, got it.
I have one more question, and this is about something completely different. I'm having problems in game or when I'm aim training where I tense my hand really hard. Is there any way I can do to stop that, or like just relax it?
So there's
it's like a mental thing, I'm pretty sure, but
yeah, so it depends on what's causing it, right? Like, so this is actually something we just worked with a pro on very recently, and there were both considerations of how he perceives stress and how it leads to tensing, right? If you're not coping with the stress of certain clutch situations well, it could lead you to over grip the mouse. And then secondly, it is looking at your posture, right? He was actually leaning forward a little too much, putting pressure on his forearm, and that caused him to over grip his mouse. When we put him in a more upright position, he actually learned how to relax and stopped overly gripping it, and leading to the tensing during those situations. So it was addressing both, but you have to identify for yourself, which one of those is contributing more. Is it your posture? Is it your how you perceive stress? It's more of a way you have to tease it out. I'm going to try changing posture. If that doesn't change, then I'm going to try learning a little more about stress management, you can come back next month, and we're gonna have Ryan, speak a little more about that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely try making my posture more upright while I'm playing, because I noticed it really like yesterday, because my aim got like super shaky in stress situations. Like it was a 1v5. I killed one flicked, and then when I was spraying down, my aim got super shaky.
Got it. Yeah, so I would definitely look to see if, like I said, you're not leaning super hard in front, so your forearms there's not a lot of pressure underneath your forearm. See if
part of it is also just putting yourself in those situations. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Part of it is just putting yourself in those situations more and more to kind of accommodate to that stress. Like, you'll always kind of revert to some of these primal patterns where you're like having these stress responses if you're not used to being in those situations. So putting yourselves or trying to simulate these stressful situations more and more definitely is helpful for kind of coping with the stress that comes with it.
Okay.
And I think the posture and all that stuff is really great as well. But there's no substitute for kind of just like building a little bit of mental resiliency for these types of things.
Yeah, so, stick around, and we will go through a bunch of grips and identify some things and show some exercises. And if you still have questions, just let us know. But thanks for hopping in, Spellboy. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, we are going to continue. And as you can see here, we're going to review some mouse grips. Okay, we have here ROPS. And the main thing that we want to help you understand is that depending on how you're holding the mouse, it influences what muscles are being used, right? This is ROPS here, and I'm going to demonstrate the type of grip that he's using. So he has this modified palm claw hybrid, or more of a modified palm, as you can see. But the main difference is that he utilizes the side of his ring finger to really stabilize the side of the mouse, right? And what that does is that uses the muscles that are responsible for doing this. It's called your palmar interossei, your pads and your dabs, right? And so
pads and the dabs.
And so he stabilizes it, which means that he has to strengthen or condition the smaller muscles of his hand, in addition to the muscles that we use so commonly to click, right? The muscles on the top, the muscles on the forearm, and the muscles in our hand. But because he does that, he has an extra demand, and over time, it can lead to overuse. So that's just something that we wanted to demonstrate for you guys, and also showcase, a few other ones, right? I just released a video on this, the Forbidden Mouse Grip that Ethos uses, right? He stabilizes here. He uses this mouse. He likes it. But he also, because he has a larger hand, he uses the fingertip grip, right? And we know that with fingertip grip, it increases the overall stress of the forearm muscles here on the palm side, because your mouse is floating, right? You're not having that contact point at the base of your palm to stabilize it, right? And what that does is it means that you can micro correct well, right? So again, showing that angle, it means that you might be able to micro correct well, like this, you see? And my palm, or the base of my palm, is not touching it, right? So he can do this. You can maybe do a small micro correction pretty easily. But again, that leads to different muscles being utilized during aiming, right? Can you see how ROPS, if he does that grip here, this grip, and his palm is touching the mouse, and then Ethos with his fingertip, how those are different actions when they aim. They're different movement patterns, and that, guess what, leads to different muscles being used. And again, like, we're gonna review the big groups of muscles that you guys can check out, and so you guys will know what stretches and exercises you can do. So here's the last grip. This is pro Counter-Strike player Tessie. I also released a little short clip, but this one, he probably has the tape on. He has the tape on for a reason. His forearm muscles here are shortened, and that leads to overuse of these guys. He also has the offset position of the mouse. So again, how you hold the mouse matters. That's all we're trying to help you guys understand here. And so Elliot's going to talk and repeat a little more about some of the things that we just talked about in the big three, right? We had posture, and now we have number 2, physical health conditioning, and your lifestyle and gaming habits.
Yeah, for sure. So, is there another slide after this?
Yeah, plenty of slides, but I just wanted to leave this here so you can chat about it.
Gotcha. So, we're talking about the difference between strength and endurance. So, if you guys aren't already developing habits where you guys are in the gym or working on building up both of these things, strength and endurance, definitely something to get into the habit of. Not only do both of these types of training help to stimulate some muscle growth and muscle endurance, which we'll talk a little bit about the difference between those two. But also, both of these types of training help to actually increase chemicals in your brain that help with alertness, decision making, cognitive function, reaction time, all of these things. So making sure that you guys have a regular exercise schedule is definitely something that is going to be critical to kind of your ability to aim. But as far as strength and endurance go, I just wanted to kind of draw a distinction between the two of those things. So strength is the ability for you to lift heavy weight a couple times, and endurance is your ability to lift a light weight many times. So when we are gaming, essentially what we're using is the muscles property of endurance. So that's going to be really important for muscles like the muscles in your forearms, the muscles in your shoulders, if you're an arm aimer. Working on doing lighter weight at higher repetitions will help condition these muscles to have this property of endurance, and that's ultimately what's going to help prevent injuries. A lot of times in gaming, what we see, what happens is that people try to play for much longer than they are physically conditioned to as far as their endurance goes. So that's when these repetitive strain issues pop up, these tendinopathies pop up, things like we get complaints about pain, and almost always the problem is a lack of endurance in the muscles that we're talking about. So both of these are important. Strength is also important for just kind of postural control and things like that while you're playing. But endurance is really the property that I think we're going to focus on mostly for dealing with a lot of these pain patterns that seem to pop up most when we're playing. And then your lifestyle and gaming habits around your habit of playing, how that affects your ability to play for longer without pain. Taking breaks, things like making sure you are getting enough sleep at night, making sure that you are getting proper nutrition, making sure that your diet is on point. All of these things also play into your performance and how well you're going to be able to play both mentally and physically. Things like reaction time suffer when all of these other lifestyle habits are not in place. Getting up and taking breaks, mental resets, getting up and going for a walk, things like this all will help to reset kind of your brain and your body so you're able to get the most out of whether you're training or playing competitively during the day. Really making sure that you're able to optimize these things will really help to make you a better player overall.
That's right. And so the one thing that I want all of you guys to understand, again, I've said this many times before, we've repeated this in so many pieces of content, but if there's only one thing that you take away from this presentation, it's going to be this. Okay, so turn on your ears, turn on your eyes, and get ready to listen and get ready to share this, because this is going to be helpful in helping you understand why we prescribe what we prescribe. So think of your muscles and your tendons as having a health bar. As you click the mouse, your health slowly goes down, right? Because we're applying repeated stress onto those muscles and tendons. Your HP is slowly lowering, and there's things that we can do to change the amount of HP that we lose, like have better posture, better ergonomics, sleep better, have better overall nutrition. So instead of losing 4 HP, you only lose 1 with better posture, which means, hey, you can play for a little longer, right? And so when you get to 0, right over here, that means your tissues become irritated, you feel a little bit of pain, and you're limited from doing what you love, which is gaming, right? On the flip side, there's things that we can do to restore our HP, right? And those are things like rest, stretching, massage, ice, kinesio tape, heating. Those are all things that help us restore some of our health. Again, if you rest a little more, hey, you might be able to restore it. But the bigger picture of all is, look at this. What's this? This is the size of the health bar, right? We want to be able to have 10,000 HP. Most of the time when you guys have injuries, you guys are here. You guys are right here. You have 3 HP. And
Playing on 1 HP.
Yeah, you have 1 HP. And after about 2 hours, you might feel some pain because, hey, your max HP is only 3, right? And so what is representative of the size of the health bar? It's your muscular endurance, right? It's your tissue's capacity to handle stress, right? And so what we can do is we can optimize all those things. We can increase the size of the health bar. We can change how quickly we lose HP. We can optimize for recovery by sleeping well, by stretching, by massaging. Exercising more regularly provides overall better conditioning and faster recovery. Walking can help with recovery, right? There's all these things that we can do. So take this, remember this, and say, well, if I have pain, then it's a matter of load. Most likely, it's a matter of I don't have enough HP, and there's things that I'm doing to my health that I need to be better about. I need to take some good potions. I need to go to 1 HP and learn about how I can optimize my health. And so we wanted to talk about the 3 most common pain patterns that we see. Right, and you guys confirmed this for us, right? In the question that we asked, right? You guys said, "Hey, we feel it here. We feel it along the top side. That's one really common pain pattern." Boom, we see another one here on the thumb side, and we also see it on the palm side of the wrist. A lot of the times it is even focused in here on the pinky side, right? That was, I think, P10 for you guys, right? So these are 3 really common pain patterns that we see. When we work with, pro esports players, just casual gamers, aimers, gamers, non-flamers, and
lamers.
And lamers, occasional lamers. And
the occasional lamer.
And maimers. What else?
Maimers!
Anyways, I can't remember. I can't come up with anything else. So let's go through it, right? Let's talk about pain pattern 1. Pain pattern 1 is the one on the top side of your forearm. And here, what do you guys think we can do about it? What's your best guess? And I'll type down here what your guys' guesses are.
We've already given you guys plenty of hints. What can you do about pain in your forearm?
If you have pain...
Or wrist.
If you have pain here on the top side of your forearm, what are the 3 things that you can do? This is a test. If you were paying attention in class, you will know. So let us know in the chat what you guys think, and or if you want to volunteer, then we can talk.
Rest. Stretch
Ooh.
it, strengthen it. Answers
Okay.
1 through 3.
Okay, so we have stretch it and strengthen it. That's a good one. Right here. Stretch plus strengthen. Okay. Ding, 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 ding. 3 points. Posture.
Rest.
Posture. Okay. What about and rest? Rest was number 3. Breaks. There we go. Akira coming in clutch, right? What did we talk about? What was the big 3? We had posture ergonomics. We had strengthening your conditioning of your wrist and hand. And then we had lifestyle, taking breaks. There we go, guys. Stand up. Give yourself a round of applause. Just do a little bit of clapping here and there because you guys did it. You guys are right. You guys are absolutely correct. It's these 3 things that you guys have to do. And so let's go through each of them, right? If you have pain over here at this region.
Hey, my watch actually congratulated me for getting up.
Excellent. What do they need to do posture-wise to consider for this? For this area, Elliot?
Mouse ergonomics?
Yeah. What kind of mouse ergonomics should they think about? or things that they might have to look at.
Going to utilize more of those extensors.
Okay. These
Also,
guys.
if you're not down to change your mouse grip, which you don't necessarily have to, looking at things like the angle of your armrest versus your mouse can definitely be things that we're looking at here. If you're in a more extended position like this, you're going to be using more of those muscles to extend
Like this,
your
guys.
mouse hand
Like
backwards.
this, right?
Yeah.
Talk
So
about
things like
this.
that will definitely cause more stress on those muscles. So making sure you're in a nice neutral posture will be helpful. You know, so like more if like the elbow was a little bit higher.
Like this too.
Yeah, and you're extending like that consistently.
Yeah. See, so those are the postural considerations you guys got to take. But what about the exercise considerations? Well, fortunately, we prepared some exercises that you guys can follow along with, and we're gonna link them in the chat. So, you guys ready? If you're ready, throw us onion in the chat.
Onion, like an ogre.
Throw us an onion in
layers.
the chat.
It's got layers.
So number one, right? And so this is specifically pain along the top side of the forearm. And this one, these exercises are closer on the pinky side. So if you have pinky sided pain along the back side, these 3 exercises will be helpful for strengthening. Okay, we're going to link it in the chat. Link it in the chat. We got, boom, we got this. We got a strengthening routine and a stretching routine. And let's demonstrate it.
By stretching.
Okay, so we have the stretching routine here, and here's what it's me demonstrating. So we're stretching those muscles along the top side of the forearm here. Wow, we're stretching that. You can stretch it for 20 to 30 seconds. You can do it after your gaming session, in between your cues, in between your breaks. Here's me demonstrating along the side view, right? So you can either do it with your palm, your hands flat like that, or you can make a fist to really sensitize that stretch. So
Yeah,
that's
making
gonna
the fist makes the stretch 100 times harder.
Exactly.
Because now you're
So-
stretching all those muscles that go all the way down into the fingers.
Yeah, and so here's me demonstrating that fist stretch to really pull on that top side of the forearm, and then I also bias it down inwards to bias the pinky side of the wrist. So you can, if you bias it outwards and away, you can get the thumb side of your wrist. But if you do it inwards towards your body, like this is shown, like that, then you're targeting the outside of your
The ulnar side.
the ulnars.
The ulnar side.
And then the last one is what I call the pin and stretch. So this is a great self-massage technique. And guys, what does massage and stretching do? Does it help
Do not ask
to...
them about self-massage, please.
Does it help with A, increasing your HP, B, restoring your HP, or C, reducing your HP? Let's find out. Poll says onions. Thanks for all the onions. I actually appreciate that you guys went through to find the onion emojis. You guys are the best. And we love it. We love it. So, guys, give us the answer. Does it help to increase HP? Does it help to restore HP? Does it cause you to reduce your HP? What does this do? And if
Any
you ask-
guesses in the chat?
And as you guys are guessing, I'm going to demonstrate it, right? So what I'm doing is I'm pinning the tendon down, as you can see here. And then that's causing the tissue, some pressure to be maintained at the tissue. And then I make a fist and move down into wrist flexion. That allows sliding of the tissue beneath where I'm placing the pressure. Right, so there, you can either use your thumb or you can either use the fingers as shown. You can do it at the tendons itself, or you can do it at the muscles right over here, right? So I can demonstrate the variant on camera, but I wanted to show you guys this exercise as a base. Okay, so this is a pin and stretch. Yes, you guys are so smart.
Restore your HP.
Exactly, brilliant. It restores your HP, allows you guys to recover a little bit. It's a recovery
You're not
tool.
increasing your HP with this. You're not fixing the problem with this. You are simply buying yourself a little more time.
Yep. And so you guys are B for brilliant. Very good. So
B for brilliant.
what we're doing now is we're working on strengthening, which increases your HP, right? Because if we build up your endurance, you have more overall HP. And we start with isometrics, right? Because, and this is for those that have pain closer to the actual wrist joint itself. Most of the time when we're dealing with injuries, I'm burping a lot. It is tendon related issue, and isometric exercises, which is when the length of the tissue is, or length of the muscle is not changing while you're contracting, and I'll demonstrate here, it helps to reduce the pain. And so this protocol, yes, can actually help, but the actual protocol that's been studied in the research is a little longer. So instead of 3 sets of 10 holding for 5 seconds, you can hold for 3 to 5 sets of 45 seconds, resting about 30 seconds to a minute in between. And you want to apply about 70% of your maximum. So let me just put that on the screen here. Ebony Real's research says 70%, greater than 70% MVIC, isometric hold for 5 times 45 seconds, 1 to 2. In the research, it's 1 to 2 minutes of rest. But we found just as much success with this protocol, 3 times 45 seconds, 30 seconds rest in between. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure they got all of that.
This is the protocol. And so to clarify, what that means is you're holding this movement that I'm showing, right? I'm resisting myself, bending my wrist up towards the ceiling, holding that for 45 seconds. When I say MVIC, what I mean is that I'm resisting myself at 70% of, my maximum contraction. So you hold it for 45 seconds at 70%, and then in between, you rest for about 1 to 2 minutes, right? And the middle number here, this is in the research. This is our numbers. Hopefully, we're going to publish research that can validate this, but we'll see. But yeah, that's your isometric exercise. So we start with that. It helps with pain management, but it can also help with strengthening. Then what you guys can do is grab a dumbbell and do some strengthening. And so I'm demonstrating the actual movement here of what it looks like. And then you can also do it in sitting if you like to support your forearm. So this is an exercise to just bring your wrists up towards the ceiling, strengthening the muscles on the top side of your forearm. Typically, we recommend that you do it in sitting, but if you do it in standing, it actually stresses the forearm muscles a little more. And then we have ulnar deviation, which is if you guys have more pinky-sided pain, this is another option for you. And so you're working on the pinky-sided muscles here, but it also the previous exercise targets these guys. So you guys can look through this video. I actually talked through the rationale for it. But let's go over, you guys like this? We're going to go over pain pattern number 2. Why don't you talk about pain pattern number 2, Elliot?
Pain pattern number 2. So we're talking about pain on the back side of the thumb there. And there's muscles that attach up into your forearm. Can you draw a little line where those muscles come from? There you go. Muscles that come from there, and they go down into your thumb. You can see a little like stringy tendon there on the picture that shows where those tendons actually pop up. And those muscles are responsible for pulling your thumb back. So if you have binds on the side of your mouse, especially, these muscles can get tight and those tendons can get irritated and you can have pain in that area. If you're having positional issues where your mouse is a little bit too far to the left or too far to the right, you can put stress on those muscles and they're consistently having to pull the mouse one side or the other, mostly towards the left if you're a right-handed aimer, is going to trigger these muscles to activate. So the way that we want to deal with this is by doing the same two things. We want to have a stretching routine and we want to have a strengthening routine. But let's talk about, do we have postural pictures for this one or no?
No, we don't. We can just talk about them.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So, I mean, very similar to the last slide. If you want to go ahead and either pull up your hand cam, Matt, or...
Yes, sir. Hand cam time.
Hand cam, yeah. So if you have a mouse position where it's more to the radial side. Once Matt quits giving me, oh my god, I'm gonna be seasick. There we go.
There it is.
All right. If you have a mouse that sits naturally more to the pinky side like that, you're going to have to activate those muscles more when you pull it towards your keyboard. So also go ahead and click some of those buttons on the side there, Matt. Shift back and forth between the first and the second. That motion specifically is what tends to irritate this. But kind of the combination between keeping your mouse angled that way and then having to go up and down on those buttons is going to activate those muscles more and put increased stress on them. So what we want to do is we want to start off with some stretches for those muscles. So I believe we have the video queued up. Why do your wrists crack so much? Mostly likely because your tendons are tight. Cracking wrists tend to come from tight tendons that are sliding over the bones and each other. That makes that snapping sound.
So yeah, here's the exercises. So, actually this is not the right routine. It's this one. So, this is a first stretch that you can do with, again, stretching those same muscles. It's on the top side of the forearm, but closer to the thumb side, right? So we're stretching this. This is an aggressive stretch. If you look at my camera, another option is you just grab the thumb and pull down and then bend your wrist down. That allows you to stretch those same muscles. This is called the thumb in the hole stretch. That's what I call it. You put your thumb in the hole and then you go down. I will link this in the chat right now so you guys can check it out, as well as the strengthening routine. So I won't talk through too much of this again, but just highlighting, this is stretch number 1. This is another stretch. Again, you can make the fist and then you can bias it. So you can stretch away. So you can stretch that. And then we do the pin and stretch technique. Again, focusing on the thumb side of the wrist here to help with recovery. And here's another option. You can keep your forearm straight or elbow straight. Pin it down. Pull it towards your elbow. So the line of force here is going this way. Down and in. And so that's me. And so the strengthening exercises that you guys can do are here as follows, right? A dumbbell is always a nice little tool that you guys can utilize to do a lot of strengthening. You're going to use the dumbbell in a neutral grip, and it's like a hammer. You're going up and down. So this strengthens those exercises right here, and I'm just demonstrating that same movement here in this picture-in-picture. And so from next, you're going to be doing something similar, right? We also do wrist extension because it also works the top side of the forearm. So it's similar, right? A lot of what you'll see is that we're doing similar exercises because a lot of the muscle groups overlap with, general wrist health and general wrist conditioning. The third exercise is, again, the isometric that can help with pain. You guys can check out more fully, but I'll play it through once. I'm resisting myself going up and in this direction like that, right? So I'm moving up and in like that, and then I'm resisting myself with my other hand like that. And then you can hold for 5 seconds, performing 2 sets of 12, or you can hold longer with the protocol that I described earlier. And so that's pain pattern number 2, and we'll focus now on pain pattern number 3, which is the wrist. The wrist over here on the palm side. And I think the weight that I use is a little heavy. What we like to use is between 3 to 5% of your body weight. Start from there, right? If you're 150 pounds, 3% of your body weight is, let's get a calculator. What is that? 0.03 times 150, 4.5 pounds, right? I can start there if you're 150. If you're more, then you can start with more than that. I would say 3 to 5 pounds is a really good place to start for anyone. This is the third pain pattern. And any mouse and posture considerations for this pain pattern, Elliot?
Yeah, so if you're in a position where your elbow is lower than your desk and you've got your hand in kind of this position, it's an exaggerated posture here, but essentially that flexion there, yeah, like that is going to put more stress on those muscles on the underside of your wrist there. So making sure that you're in a neutral position will help with that. And then depending
Fingertip
on
grip as well. Let's touch a little bit on sensitivity too.
yeah, I mean, using more of the being more of a wrist aimer than an arm aimer is going to affect this muscle group, kind of like all the rest of these pain patterns are subject to. But yeah, I would say those are the main considerations. And then you can bias the pinky side or the thumb side depending on if you have kind of a left or right tilt mouse, just like with all the other ones on or the extensor ones on the back side of the wrist as well. So you can, this is subject to bias as well.
Yeah, I think.
But so dealing with it is very similar to the rest of them. These all have the same mechanism of dealing with this. We're going to do some stretches and we're going to do some exercises to build up the endurance of those to raise that HP bar. Yeah, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, let's jump right into the exercises, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of those other issues like sensitivity, load management. Right, that's the last thing. How do you actually manage your schedule to allow you to support that? And so here's this. Here are the stretches. So again, we're stretching the palm side of your forearm, right? This time your palm's facing up. I have a lot of mobility, so you shouldn't expect that your fingers and wrists are going to bend all the way back, but you'll feel it along the top side of your forearm here. Holding about 20 to 30 seconds. Let me link this in the chat for you guys. And exercise number 2 is you can do individual or paired finger stretching. So I'm grabbing 2 fingers at a time. You're also stretching. You're putting yourself in that position. It's stretching those same muscles. When you bend your elbow like that, it isolates some muscles that don't start at your forearm here. So it's a little more of the intrinsic hand muscles as well as some of the forearm muscles on the palm side of the wrist. Again, it's all contributing to the pain that is at the actual wrist joint itself, which is tendon related. And then the last stretch, pin and stretch again. You can pin it down and you always pull it towards the elbow. And then performing 2 sets of 12. And you guys can look through the video when you guys have the time. Again, it's on our on the chat. And these are the strengthening exercises. So for the palm side of wrist pain, you can grab a little towel, roll it up, turn your palm up. So it allows for a more neutral positioning of your fingers, and you resist yourself going up. So actually, if you do have the finger pain, above your knuckles, these exercises will actually be beneficial as well. There's a few other stretches that you're going to be able to do. We'll just demonstrate a few things at the end. But generally, there's no muscles in your fingers at all. It's just the tendons. And so a lot of the times when you feel pain there, it's joint irritation or tendon irritation of the insertion. And so you want to strengthen both sides. So you want to do actually the flexor side and the extensor side in terms of exercises. The isometrics can be helpful as well. And we also have to talk about scheduling. So you can do the isometrics, and then you want to grab a dumbbell again and go full wrist flexion, dropping your fingers down there and going all the way up. And I demonstrated on the side here. You bring it all the way down and bring it all the way up. And then lastly, you can get something called the Ulti Grip, which is finger strengthening. This is, I think, just a great tool for anyone that wants to strengthen their forearm muscles, because it can work on both extensors and flexors. So you can hold it here. You can buy one of these. This should actually be linked in the description of the video. And then you're just performing 50 reps, slow and controlled. And so you can also do it on the fingertip or the finger pads. Those bias different muscle groups. So hope that was helpful as an overall, as an overview of what you guys can actually do in terms of exercises. Like I said, the videos are all in the description, and we're going to review here, right? Number 1, what we do is we take care of our posture and ergonomics. Number 2, we do strengthening plus endurance. And then number 3, we take breaks. Take breaks and manage load. Do you want to speak a little bit about managing load, Elliot?
Yeah, so managing your load just kind of means making sure that the time that you're playing isn't exacerbating or making your problem worse. So let's say that you have some wrist pain after playing for 3 hours and it starts to hurt. So load management, what that would look like would be kind of stopping before you end up having pain. So dropping that down to approximately maybe 2 hours and then doing these exercises and then slowly working your way up in increments until you get back to your full session. But essentially, while you're building endurance, while you're strengthening, that takes about 6 to 8 weeks to fully build up those tissues to handle what you're doing. You don't want to be putting excess stress on them and not letting them recover while you're doing that. So taking a step back in order to move forward is kind of what we mean when we talk about load management.
I think that's a good overall description. Yeah, basically, you want to strengthen your wrist and build up your endurance, but not overdo it by playing, right? That's why you have to gradually increase your play time when you're dealing with an issue. And like he said, it can be anywhere from 4 to 6 to 8 weeks to actually make a change in the tissue strength and for the tissues to adapt. But that doesn't mean that the pain it's gonna take 6 to 8 weeks for the pain to go away. A lot of the times there's changes in our nervous system that allowed the pain to be a lot less in 2 weeks. But you have to realize that because we know tissues take time to adapt, you have to be consistent with the exercises. You have to
doing the exercises every day is so important.
Yep. And so overall, go on. Go ahead.
I was going to say, don't let anybody tell you that the solution is to stop playing and to take a long break from playing. That is the most counterproductive thing you can do.
Yep.
Because that's what's called stress shielding. Now you're just protecting those tendons from stress. And when you put stress back on them again, you're just going to be right in the exact same place. Whether you take a month off, a year off, it doesn't matter. You need
and in fact, they get weaker, right? We know that in the research, when you offload your tendons, the tendon itself gets weaker. The nerve to muscle connection gets weaker. The entire kinetic chain loses its strength, right? There's all these negative things that happen when you stop moving, when you stop performing exercises, or when you stop loading. So that's why it's important for us to maintain the exercises and then gradually, manage your load as we discussed. So the last thing I know, someone had a question about sensitivity. In general, yes, if you have low sensitivity, low DPI, it can increase the stress on the forearm muscles because it's like artificial friction that you're creating. And so you have to kind of travel more overall distance, meaning more overall muscular activity. But I would say it's unless it's extreme of sensitivity, like you're doing 1 sensitivity or 0.00001, then it's just preference. Yes, it's going to be a little more stress, but it's not enough to really.
It's not enough stress that you can't strengthen your wrist to handle.
Exactly.
People climb mountains and they jump off of buildings. You can play video games without pain. You just got to train for it like anything else.
Exactly. Use whatever sensitivity that you want. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't use a certain sensitivity. Okay? You can use whatever you want, provided we do the big 3. Pay attention to our posture. We condition our wrists.
There's almost nothing you can't do.
Yep. Almost nothing. So let's get into this, this last portion here. Do you guys have any big questions for us? Any lingering questions?
Come on, chat. Now's your time.
Now's your time, chat. All right, you can look at our faces right here.
It's me.
Look at my hair. Oh, how do you fix cracking wrists? I think you already answered this, but
Yeah, like I said, cracking wrists is tight tendons. Tight tendons are weak tendons. So the answer to fixing cracking wrists is strengthening your tendons.
Yeah, strengthen.
Is it ever too late to fix an issue? Yeah, I mean, if the tendon snaps, then you're gonna need surgery for sure. But
that will never happen with gaming. That actually will never happen with gaming, unless you're playing VR and there you have a sword decoration. You hit the sword decoration and it lacerates your tendon. Then that might happen. But outside of that,
or if you've been a VR streamer for 50 years and you get a rotator cuff tear, I could see that.
Right, true.
20 come back 30 years from now and we'll answer that question.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll be very old, but we'll be able to answer that question for you. Maybe we'll be downloaded into the metaverse.
Yeah, well, we're not going to be using our bodies in 30 years. Let's be real. We're all going to have like a feeding tube and VR glasses on at all times and a diaper.
Okay, Kaizen, that's a really great question. After a gaming session, how long should a break be? 30 minutes or more before another session. So I would say it depends. It depends on how long your initial session was. Typically, the longer the session, the longer the break. If it's an hour, 5-minute break. 2 hours, 10-minute break. 3 hours, 15 to 20-minute break. I would say every hour, add around 5 minutes. That's a good rule of thumb for your break time. And make sure you go on a walk, grab some water, do some stretches, dance a little bit, hit a little bit of a wave. Wait, wave? Let me wave to you. Hold on. I go
can't.
right.
Choppy.
Right.
There's no way I can sync
to
it.
left. All right, fine.
There's no way I can sync it.
He's so boring, guys.
I know. Well, it's so choppy. It's so choppy on my end.
Anyways, yeah. Kaizen, hope that makes sense. Every hour, 5 minutes. And then use that as a general rule. 3 hours, 15. 4 hours, 20. 5 hours, 25 minutes. I actually, as a random fact, I can't say who, we helped a gamer prepare. We helped a League of Legends pro prepare to go boot camp in Korea.
Boot camp.
And we know in Korea that solo queue times are a lot shorter, so you can play a lot more games. So before, he was only able to play 6 to 7 games before he started feeling some discomfort. Elliot, guess how many games he told me he played? And how many hours he played?
20 games.
22 games.
22 games?
22 games? No
I thought
pain.
I was just making a ridiculous
15 to 16 hours. That's a lot of gaming, guys. And guess what? He can handle it. So, imagine how much HP he has. That man has a Warmogs. Am I right? Nah, you guys, no one gets that. If you guys get that, then I like it. I like you. What's your perspective on hand grips? Could you clarify? What is that? What do you mean? Like how
hand
you grip
grips.
the mouse?
Like fat grips for your bar in the gym.
Ooh. I love that, actually. You know what?
Are so nasty, dude.
You think
so hard.
Wait, should we invent fat grips for the mouse?
Oh my god.
Hey! Did we just come up with a product idea?
Isn't that essentially what those like joystick extenders are? Like
Maybe.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea.
No, they make these like little joystick extenders that go on top of your joystick to like decrease the amount that you actually have to move.
Oh, interesting.
It's like the opposite of a fat grip, but I mean that's the closest thing that I can think of that's an actual real thing.
Well, let's let Yaima let us know what he means. Patrick D. Freitas tuned in and kind of skipped through to see if I see my issue. My index finger near the middle joint in both of my hands have been aching for about a year now. I went to PT but didn't help. So this is going to be a good discussion. Are we correct in that it's over here? Also, okay, so index finger near the middle joint. Is that... I'm not understanding what he means by that. Is he talking about his PIP, DIP, or is it MCP?
Yeah, one of the PIP. Like,
okay,
yeah,
so
probably the PIP.
You're talking about,
well, I mean, it could be PIP or DIP. It doesn't really matter either.
You're talking about here, these guys, right? These fingers.
No. interphalangeal joints, probably.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Here.
No, that's the MTP.
What? These are IPs. MTP is on the foot, bro. Okay.
What? MCP.
Maybe
Yeah. Sorry, I've been looking at the YouTube video, not the Zoom call, and you were pointing to the MCP.
Never mind. Okay, so also some days my finger will click and crack when bending. Click and crack when bending. Oh yeah, okay, but not always. Changes day to day. We addressed that actually a little bit. Today, my pinky on my keyboard hand is clicking. I feel some pain. But my index finger never really stops. No, the joint... Yes, PIP. Okay, so PIP. So we actually talked a little bit about this, and why don't I actually just link this? Knuckle pain gaming. Yes, I know it's not at your knuckle, but this can help. This in general can be of benefit for you. This is one thing. And then we also have this video, 7 science-based wrist and hand exercises. This is going to be a really good basis for things as we describe this. Okay, so first and foremost, maybe I'll load up bio, human anatomy platform. You guys ready for this? Actually, it's my secret account. Hold up. You guys can't see. Patrick de Freitas. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let me know with phonetics if I'm not. But let me show you guys this guy here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, guys. See him? He's loading. He's loading at the moment. But let's talk about this. Let's very briefly review clicking. It's most often a result of either tendon snapping over a certain part of the bone because it's stiff, or gas being released from the joint. Not a big issue. It can be resolved as you gradually strengthen. But let's talk about the specific muscles that you would have to strengthen, right? So, look at that Tonka truck.
I'd say the gas releasing is more like if you're going to crack your knuckles, and like that happens once. If it's continually clicking, like every time you move it, it's definitely tight tendons. So just to kind of differentiate between the two of those.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's turn off the digestive system. Turn off that. Turn off the... Should we leave the reproductive system up, guys?
Yeah, I want to see all that.
You guys see that? Hold on. Wait! Am I going to get... Sorry. I'm so sorry. That's not appropriate. Okay. I'm just showing anatomy.
Education.
No one clip that. Don't do it. Okay, so we're gonna be educational here. Here we go.
Glutes, though. Look at those.
Dude, those are...
dump truck.
Wait, that's crazy. Okay, I'm getting so distracted. So we're talking about these joints here. Okay, we're talking about these joints. Let's move a little closer here, right? These are your interphalangeal joints, and you can see here, right? What did I say before? That there's no muscles actually in the finger itself. It's just the attachment of the tendons, right? So you have a tendon here, and then on the front side you have the... Okay, got it.
You can actually see the tendons.
I have to turn off connective tissue. Hold up. Let me turn off the CTs here. Turn off the connective tissues. There we go. Beautiful. We're going to zoom in here and demonstrate. Okay, so... as you can see, that there's only tendinous insertions, right? And at the side, these muscles called lumbricals or lumbricals, however you want to pronounce it, they're the closest thing that inserts there. And those are actually some things that we typically see become really tight, that can increase compressive stress on the joints here, right? When your muscles, and you can see these tendons come from where? The forearm. You see that? Forearm. And so when they're tight, what happens? It's pulling. Whoa. It's way too big.
Wow.
That's way too big. So it's pulling right towards the base, right? And same thing with this lumbrical, it's pulling, right? What does that do to this joint here, right? It will compress it. It'll compress it every single time you're clicking. It's gonna cause some irritation at that joint. You're gonna feel that pain, and if we don't manage your load properly, you're going to continue to feel it all the time, right? So we discussed load management. So the key thing here is, guess what? we're gonna have to strengthen these muscles so that they can not fatigue, they won't stiffen up, they won't lead to that joint irritation of your actual knuckles there. And so strengthening is going to be a really key way to address that. And then regularly stretching to make sure that they aren't stiff, right? So that they can, they're actually not at rest, creating that compressive stress. So let me link my 6-minute post-session routine, my most viewed exercise routine on YouTube, guys. I'm so proud of this. And so I'm going to link this in the chat right now so that you can do this after your session. This is a really simple way to, incorporate stretches. And it incorporates the lumbrical stretch in there. So check that out, Patrick. Hopefully that was educational. In terms of the cracking, like we said, when you strengthen, it takes time for it to strengthen. So 6 to 8 weeks, you have to be consistent. You also have to pay attention to your gaming schedule. You can't maintain the amount of gaming that you're playing in the beginning. You have to gradually work that up. If you're feeling pain at 20 minutes, reduce to 15 minutes, 75% for the first week, and then add the exercises. And then next week you can go to 20. Next week, and then the week after that you can go to an hour, then an hour and a half, and gradually increase. Okay, guys. Thoughts? Michael Glackner. Can there be any reason that my neck cracks? Oh my goodness, Elliot. Every time I move it around. I stretch it every day and I still feel pain. Elliot, you can let this man know.
I answered it in the chat.
Oh, you did?
It's the same reason. Tight tendons or tight muscles or weak muscles. All the same thing. Causes cracking.
And maybe try this exercise routine. We have 27 different routines. I think we have the most routines on, gaming health. So check that out.
Is there a way though how to strengthen the neck muscles?
Hey,
you ask.
Well,
we would tell you
the link,
but they've yet to sponsor us, so we're waiting on that.
Oh yeah. We have the sponsorship. We have that video that I just showcased. Actually, we have some videos in our actual YouTube at the moment. It says, hold on. I'm loading it up. It's a neck routine for gamers.
Yes, sir. Rest is never enough. You always have to strengthen.
Yes, sir.
It's one rule in life. Unless something's broken, in which case strengthen everything else around it.
Right. Oh yeah. There we go. Neck exercise routine for gamers. This is specific to the neck. The nerd neck routine is just a little more general. This was during a different stream where Elliot and we do these live streams, in person, where we actually demonstrate the exercise at the YouTube studio. Or 1HP
Yeah,
studio.
if you want to see our live streams that aren't on the Voltaic server, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow us on twitter.com.
Yep. Guys, we're coming down near to the end of this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for being so responsive with everything, giving us feedback, engaging with some of our questions. Hope you guys learned something and took something away from this. It always helps us if you guys tweet this out, share one of our videos, tweet out what you learned from this session, and really anything that helped you understand a little more about how to approach your health as a gamer, because we want to continue to help not only the Voltaic community but every community out there to be more mindful of their health, how they can take some small steps to be better versions of themselves. And we'll be back, I think next week. Ryan is doing something, as well as we're gonna schedule another discussion. If you guys have specific topics that you want us to touch on, let us know in the health channel in Voltaic. Let us know in the chat here, or you can tweet at us and say, hey, Matt and Elliot, would love to if you guys spoke about this next time. If you guys just did some dancing next time. If you guys...
I can dance more.
yeah, if you guys just do and just play games next time, whatever, right?
Shake those glutes.
Let me know. Let us know, and thanks again. We are out of here.